Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another changelog video. I'm Jacob, the Customer Success Manager with Nova, and today we're going to be focusing in on version 3.15. First thing we'll see is a brand new user interface within Colorfinder. Up next, we'll touch in on the brand new layers panel and how that all works. And last but not least, we'll go into our 3D map layers. So if we hop right into this Colorfinder data, this is the new user interface. Top left-hand corner right here, we have our color wheel. Below that, we have our drone map with our flight path and drone icon. At the bottom, we have our color graph, and then you'll see this on the right-hand side here is the new comment section. So within the color wheel, what we can do now is import various images. So I will select this image. What we can then do is pick certain pixels. We can adjust the hue, saturation, and brightness. When I select search, you'll notice that those pixels and colors are highlighted within our color wheel. We can also highlight more colors if need be, like so. If we ever wanted to reset that, all we would have to do is click on this button right here. We can also adjust our anomaly filter. When we turn down our opacity, you can see how that adjusts on this frame right here. And our sensitivity is actually in correlation with our anomaly line detector right at the bottom here. So if I dial this back like that, we can then hop into our new map view. We can adjust this by pulling it up or down, and we can also zoom in and zoom out. What you'll see right here is your flight path as this very light blue, our drone icon representing our drone, and then this blue bounding box represents the field of view in that current frame. If we're ever off on our map, all we'll have to do is select on this button right here, which will bring us back to a centered view of our drone. Below that, in our color graph, what we can do is we can adjust it frame by selecting these buttons, just like that. We can also adjust the speed with this tab right here. And if we ever wanted to go to an individual frame, we can just place that in. So I put in 3. Now you can see it just took me back to the 3rd second of that video. The other cool thing that we've added within our color graph is the ability to zoom in and zoom out. Obviously, this is a very small data set, but thinking bigger picture here, if we have a 30-minute flight time, capture all that data, put it in, this is going to get very large. So having the ability to zoom in and zoom out on various moments within that flight can be crucial. So if I go back here, I will highlight these red pixels. Another thing you're going to see here is we've added a bounding box around those individual pixels that we've picked up. This can be very helpful versus Colorfinder version 1, where those pixels are extremely hard to see. So having that red bounding box around it will identify exactly where we are looking. From here, what we can do is zoom in to see what we're looking at, as well as on this screen right here. What you're seeing right here is actually a red hunter's jacket that's wedged in between 2 trees. Once something is identified like this, we can click on the point icon, and now we can place it directly on our map, where that point will then be populated in our map view. It'll also pop up on the comment section on the right-hand side here. We can then copy these coordinates, send them off to the crew on the ground, and we can identify exactly what that is. When it comes to leaving comments, we have a couple different options. So I'm just going to say clue 1, and we can adjust that to the investigate button. Once that's posted, everybody who's within the Colorfinder workspace can see that comment and exactly where it is on our color timeline. If I was to click back on that, it will take us directly to that frame and what we are looking at. If you ever want to reset your overall view, you can select Reset Zoom, and it will bring it back to its original view. When it comes to editing comments, we can click on the Reply tab. So let's say we've investigated this and it turned out to just be a jacket. It wasn't beneficial. We can label it as false, unknown. Once it's cleared, we can say it's cleared, and you can see how that is adjusted. You can also leave comments within comments like so. just like that. Now everybody will be able to see the conversation that was going on as we were looking at that individual item. A couple other things we've added is the ability to change your overall view. So if I select on this, it will bring up our maps view, and we can enter into a full screen view that pushes all our extra tools outside of the way. When it comes to settings, we can change the resolution of our video, whether that be low, medium, or high, by adjusting that there. And if I just move my screen, we can also disable the anomaly filter. So this will correspond with our map view. When selected, you'll notice that the field of view is now off, flight path, and the crosshairs. If we ever wanted to change what was going on within our map, we can select on default, white, or satellite. We can also minimize various tools within Colorfinder by selecting these arrow buttons to drop down, just like that. That is a very quick overview of the new Colorfinder, brand new interface, and some of the key features that we've added. So if I was to go back now, we can then touch on the layers panel. So we have layers, we have assets, and we have PDFs. Within our layers tab, we can now create groups inside of groups. So if I was to select on these two icons, for example, I can create a new group like so. Let's say I wanted to remove something from the layers panel, but I still wanted it to be appear on my map. What I can do is right click. I can then click on archive, and now you can see that that is removed, and it will populate at the very bottom here. So to bring that back, we'll select on it, select on that icon, and we will retrieve that layer, and you'll notice that it is just popped back up in our layers panel. When I click on assets, you'll see a breakdown of all the features that Nova has to offer associated with its thumbnail. Lastly, PDFs staying the same. We've also added a search bar so that you can easily search up your naming convention, search it, and that will populate instantly. Last but not least, when we go into our 3D layers, if selected, you will see, give this an example. So when I select on 3D layers at the very bottom here, you're going to see a 3D view. If you hold Control on your keyboard or you right click with your mouse, you're now given this 3D view. The last thing I'll touch on is the ability to add images within icons. So for example, I will now add an image. It's uploaded. Now that's attached to that individual icon. You can also add multiple photos if need be. That's an overview of all the stuff that we've added in version 3.15. If you guys have any questions, recommendations, or want an overall tutorial of all of these features, please reach out to me. All of my information is down below. Have a wonderful day.